shirts.
I like them too. I like the colors and everything.
I've gotten a lot of compliments. All right, here we go. Oh, we're live again. I did it again. Hang on, let me try something, folks. We're going to try this again.
Wait, were we live before?
Yeah, we sure were.
Oof.
Attention, everybody.
We were live that whole time?
Yeah. Well, just for like 30 seconds. Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits.
My headphones are so loud. My ears are dying.
We'll turn them down.
I can't.
We will.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm saving this so that. All right. Sorry, son. Oh, here we go. Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay, and Tanner.
What's up?
Well, here's a little music while I turn down my son's headphones, because I switched your headphones.
That makes sense. No wonder it hurts. All right, now you can talk into the headphones, and that's much better. No, the microphone, the other phone, not the phones, but the phone.
You said talking in headphones.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Jay? Did you see it? Huh?
No.
He said you could talk into the headphones, so I went over like real close to his headphones and tried talking into his headphones.
Yeah. Wow.
Made it his personal space. I made it funny.
Wow. I appreciate that. Now my eardrums are not dying.
Glad to help.
What are you doing?
Talking into your headphones.
Just say no, Tanner.
Today's show. It's okay to say no sometimes. Now, we were talking about...
My name is Jay.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Drive. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Tanner.
Glad to have everybody on board with us today.
And it is okay to say
It
no.
is okay to say no sometimes. There for a long, long time, like even well before I even took over the radio, we practiced, the band practiced, like 4 times a week? 5 times a week? And
it was a lot.
And then I kept just like adding stuff to my plate. Because
people would ask you to do something.
Yeah, and then I don't like to say no.
Yeah.
And I kept telling you, I just don't want to get burnt out, Jay. I just don't want to get burnt out. And I didn't realize I kept saying that to you.
Wow.
And he goes, well, it sounds like you might be getting burnt out because you said that a whole bunch here lately.
Yeah.
And then you said, it's okay to say no sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
And I said, yeah, but what am I going to tell him?
It's
and
necessary
and
to
you
say
said,
no sometimes.
Yeah, and then you said, you don't have to give him an explanation either. Sometimes
No,
it
you
can
don't
just be
also,
no.
Yeah.
Just if you're watching, if you're upper management of Axe Media Group, I'm not insinuating anything, so don't worry about that.
No, but hey, you know what? That's one of the most important places to be able to learn to say no, because that's your point of negotiation. Sometimes when you're involved in work, you feel like the boss or the upper management is in complete and total control of you, which is not exactly true. If you're effective in your role with a company, then your first of all, your physical and mental health are all vital to your being effective.
Yeah.
Plus, you being on the ground and knowing the job you do and being effective at it, it makes you the authority on the subject.
And he's generalizing. He's not specifically saying me because I've got a lot of control here.
You do, yes, and I'm not saying that, but But what I mean is, there's times when you have to, even though something's coming from higher up, you do need to stand firm and challenge it. You need to know how to do it, though, which isn't easy.
You know, and saying no is hard for me. I will say that. I mean, it's a lot easier now than what it was.
Well, what happens when you're effective is that more people see you as a value and want to use your skills and talents and your devotion. So more and more people, you end up coming at, you have 10 people coming at you saying they want you to do this, 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 and this, and it's all out of love, and it's all out of a need for something
Yeah.
good. So you don't want to say no because this person's asking you to do something that's going to be good, and that you see, and the reason they want you to do it is because you're effective. So you know that what you're going to be doing for them is both good and effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then when you've got to do 10 different things, you run into scheduling problems, you run into sleep problems, you run into confusion because you have so many things going on in your mind at once, especially if you're effective because you think about what you're doing.
Morning, Steve Mickey Mac,
Yeah.
Steve Schultz, Susan Burrows, Stacy Wedeking. And Steve Mickey Mac says, morning, Matt and Jay and Tanner. Good morning, Dennis.
Good
Stacy.
morning.
And that's
you.
what happened with you. That's
Yeah,
what
at
I
the
saw
time.
happening
Well,
with you is you had so many
a
people
lot of
needing something.
Yeah.
And they were coming to you because they knew they could depend on you and that
Right.
you would be effective.
And it was, like playing in places that, like were a long drive away and things
Yep.
like that. And I was on the verge of being burnt out of, our ministry, meaning the Good News Band.
I think you did get burned out.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not happening.
And then
know what I mean?
then I calmed down and things got better.
Yeah.
And I said no to a couple people who wanted us to come play because God wants us to be well balanced in life, Now you may look at what I do here and say, "Oh man, I really don't consider what we're doing here work."
It's not really.
It's not. This is part of my own personal ministry as far as like in my heart, because we're talking to you, we're bringing the word of God to you, the viewers, and it gives me a platform to be goofy, make people laugh.
Because God has
Stuff-
asked
yeah.
something of you. Because
Absolutely.
because you can be effective as a tool in that ministry in the place that He's put you. I mean, if you think about, it's also good to understand that bad feelings about a failure or about something that didn't happen when you had plans is not bad.
Right.
God puts you in a place, especially in ministry, God puts you in a place for a reason, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with the actual work that you're doing.
Right.
What it really has to do with is putting you in a place where somebody's going to encounter you,
Yeah.
and you will be the right person to have that effect on them, to have the effect that you'll have. So a lot of times the work itself has nothing to do with what God's plan and purpose for you is. It's just how He gets you there.
You tell Darryl we said hi too if he's watching. Stacy. Stacy says that saying no is hard for her too.
Yeah. I mean, look at the band, realistically.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at it and say it failed or that it is no more because you're not, you know what I mean? It's not happening the way we had thought.
No.
We thought it would be a full-time on the road, traveling around from ministry to ministry all around the country and the world, you know what I mean? Making albums for people to enjoy and to bring people closer to God, to tell our testimonies and witness around the world, to
Yeah.
evangelize through
Yeah.
the music.
Yeah.
That's not what it happened. It didn't happen.
No. I mean, it still might.
It still might.
That's not off the table.
But
you know.
Right, but it is off the table right now.
Right at the
I mean,
moment,
there's no
yeah.
way- Right, so that is, but looking at that truthfully
Yeah.
is important and not feeling like it's a failure.
Yeah, because it's not, because people learned who God was.
Right, and you
were
have-
saved and changed their lives not because of us,
we
but
wouldn't
because
be here
God
right
moved
now
through
if
us.
it weren't for it.
No.
All of this equipment was something that we found were tools that could be used for
Absolutely.
this, and then they were applied, which none of that would have happened if it weren't for the band.
Yeah. The radio ministry that I'm part of, a ministry, is not a job. That's what Steve Mickey Mac says.
That's right, and it's not,
And,
it's not a job.
And Steve shows up here all the time. Thank you so much, Steve. We love you, and we really
And he's an
appreciate you.
effective tool.
He is. He is. God is using him. I mean, our views are I mean, we're on a totally different level now
Yeah,
because of the people he's introduced us to.
yeah.
I
Our
mean, the other
audience
day-
is changing.
Yeah.
Our affiliates are changing. People who are contributing to what we're doing here is changing. We're getting the attention of people who can actually bring more attention to what we do. So those are all really good things.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the other day we had one of the members of the Sons of the Pioneers here with Peggy Lee Brennan and her husband.
Yeah.
You know, this guy he's part of the band that is Roy Rogers' band,
Yeah.
and they tour all over the world.
Yeah.
And he was so awesome. His name is John Fullerton. Go back for, let's see, the Wednesday shows, and you'll be able to see. And he yodeled on here and everything.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
How cool is that?
And he was so easy to work with.
But that's not the ministry that we set out to
Right,
do, right?
right.
And even with the radio, we heard a bunch of music on the radio that we weren't really it wasn't really in our genre.
Right.
And we weren't really turned on by that.
No.
You know, so we were like, well,
We switched her up.
We switched her up. That's how the talk show and the the witnessing radio type developed. If it weren't for that, this wouldn't be. Yeah. So on the face, some things might look like failures or bad decisions, but in fact, what it is God's sovereignty.
Amen, Dennis. That's true.
God's sovereignty putting us in a place where we can do the best work that we can do. How capable would we have been to handle the people in Branson if we didn't have the experience that we have that brought us to the point?
Yeah.
And we had to separate from it for a time in order to be reintroduced in a place where we're prepared for it.
Yep. Dennis says, Axe Media Group is not a place to we work and minister. For them, it's a platform for us to be ministers and to use it for ministry.
Yep.
That's true. Steve O'Mickey says, whether it's co-hosting with you or hosting my own show or marketing, because he's our promotions and marketing director now.
Nice.
So,
and he's doing a great job.
His business card should be here by the 1st, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I'm learning from him.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Be sure and keep him in your prayers, folks.
It helps to have had him here and see him actually do what he does.
Yeah.
To bring people in.
Yeah.
Because he had some guests here, and then the way he was talking to them, he was actually promoting with them and trying to bring them on board as promoters as well.
Yeah.
And presenting what we do here for what it really was and what it can be, but more in a complete package already. See, we already are geared up and have what it takes to do all of it.
Yeah.
We just need to grow.
Yep. So we got real quick.
But you have to learn to say no.
Yeah, you do have to learn to say no sometimes when it's appropriate, or if you just don't, if you're not feeling it, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Now, some of us don't like the fact that other people say no sometimes, but that's just life.
And it's having a truthful self-evaluation too.
Yeah.
Understanding what it is you're capable of, and where you have to set a limit.
So this show,
Steamy Joe,
is brought to you, not in part, but brought to you by Steamy Joe Cafe on 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri. 417-320-3046. The number's right on the screen below. They've got hot drinks, cold drinks, breakfast, lunch specials, wraps, different teas, different syrups for your stuff, sandwiches, different combos, soup and salad combos, pastries, soup, salads, potatoes, and more.
Steamy Joe Cafe.
Steamy Joe Cafe out there on 224 West Main Street in Branson. Go check it out. And if you want, they have these really good brownies. So if you want, like, let's say you've got an office party coming up and you want to bring something extra sweet, believe me, these things are extra sweet, and they keep you on your feet.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to rhyme right now. So you'll want to call ahead if you have a larger order, like if you want to get a couple dozen of them to bring to an office party or to give to that special gal, which, I guess you wouldn't want to give her a whole dozen unless she really, really likes the brownies that much. But yeah, call 417-320-3046. Tell them the Morning Drive sent you. If you mention the Morning Drive, you can get a buy one, get one free on the chicken salad croissant.
The croissant.
Croissant. It's
croissant.
Tomato.
How do you say chicken salad in French? See, we're really dropping the ball.
I don't know.
I think it's more like chicken salad.
Croissant.
Bok croissant. Bok croissant.
I don't
Chicken salad croissant. Buy one, get one free whenever you mention the Morning Drive. So, and that being said, we'll tell you a little bit more about it here in a little while. Steamy Joe Cafe.
Learning to say no is important to so there's so many different reasons to be able to say no. One is
Morning,
because
Jeremiah.
you can be overwhelmed because
Yeah.
people see you as an effective tool. And so everybody that meets you and has a place for you to work in their ministry or in their work or whatever they do where you'll be effective.
Yep.
Friends need help doing all kinds of things. You guys help me move, right? So there's all kinds of people who see you as an effective person, somebody that they like to be around, who can not only be a joy to be around, but also help you,
Yeah.
right? So you end up with all those people asking of you, and you end up overwhelmed, and you don't even have the time on the schedule for it.
Right.
But there's also those who will manipulate you
Yeah.
because they want to use you.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between somebody wanting to participate in something with you or have you participate in what they do. And then there's other people who will manipulate you and use you to
their benefit.
to benefit themselves.
Yeah.
And the problem is with the manipulation. So they'll present to you this situation and present it in a way that is not inaccurate, and it's not a lie, but is deceitful. So they'll take
Isn't what the
present what. So they'll present a package to you as though, look, you're already doing all this stuff, so why not do this, and it'll be better, right? And they'll present it to you, and then there's also if they get to know you a little bit, they'll know what your interests are, what your drives are, what your passions are, and they start to include those things in the way they speak to you, so that they are actually
They're trying to make
stimulating those things in your personality.
and it's not actually your agenda; it's theirs.
Yes. And so then you're all like, oh, well, so you start to have the passion for this because they understand how to manipulate you and to use your own personality and drives and passions to motivate you, right? Well, then, so in the course of the conversation with them, you end up being motivated. And you're like, yeah, I'll do it. I want to do it. Then you walk away and you think, wait a minute. What did I just agree to?
Yeah.
I've agreed to do something that is going to take me away from all the things I'm already doing. And then when you look at what you've agreed to do, the end result is not part of your plan. It's actually contrary to it. So you've now been manipulated, but now you've made promises, right?
Right.
You've agreed to do something. So if you then turn around and go back and say, you know, I don't think this is a good idea. It doesn't really suit me. Now you're breaking your word. And as far as a manipulative person goes, they'll not be ashamed to say, well, you said you gave me your word.
Yeah.
And make you feel guilty for it.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? So you have to be careful of these manipulations and manipulative people because, and I'm one who has a tendency to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand what it's like to have it done to me, and I understand what it's like to do it. Not that my motives are impure, but that it's...
That was going to really lead to my next comment.
But then by learning... okay, so in life, as we grow and mature and learn, we learn what's effective and what's not.
Yep.
And sometimes in life, we learn that manipulation is the most effective tool we have.
Yeah.
In some circumstances, and so then in those circumstances we manipulate. Well, manipulation.
Sometimes you're doing it and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Well, oftentimes you don't.
Yeah.
Especially if you get really good at it and things are getting done and it's working to your benefit.
Yeah.
Right. But then it's important to understand yourself and know that you're manipulating. Anyways, as far as saying no, you don't always have to say yes right away, and that's a good part of saying no.
Right. Think about it.
Understand.
Do your math. Make sure it's in your schedule.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the time to do it. So
some of it's identifying what the agreement you're making with somebody.
Right. Fine print, if you will.
Well, it's understanding that it is a demand on you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, oh, you're excited, so yes, I want to do it. Yes.
But a good opportunity, people don't want to pass up good opportunities either. And there's a way to talk with somebody about opportunities that they're presenting to you. in a way to where it doesn't completely shut down their ability to work with you in the future.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've had to learn because I'm starting to talk with somebody who's running for office, and they reached out to me talking about wanting to do some cultural work together. And I didn't turn them down because I know that I'll be able to, with my schedule, help them with these things, and I'm very excited about it. But I mean, there's been opportunities that have arisen to where I've had to say, well, I can't do that right now.
We got a good question here.
I would love to. I can't do that right now. I would love to. I would love to maybe in the future whenever I have time, though.
Stacy Wedeking says, what do you do when people that start what do you do when people that start using a person that they have been friends with for a long time? So when somebody starts using a person that they've been friends with for a long time, that person needs to, first of all, recognize if they're being manipulated or not. And sometimes it's not always willing or knowingly. Intentional. Because people start to, like, whenever they find something, and like, okay, so let's say you've got this issue that needs to be resolved. You got this job that needs to be done, and nobody else says yes, but the one person does. That person gives you a measure of relief knowing that you're going to have that person there.
Yep.
So automatically, the first person you think of every time you need something is going to be that person that is reliable and always says yes.
Right.
So that can actually snowball into, you don't ask anybody else, you ask them only because you know they're going to say yes.
Yeah.
So that person there is always doing something for you. But if you recognize this and you're the person that's saying yes all the time, you're going to have to, within reason, of course, say no.
You end up being a tool
Yeah.
instead of a human being.
Yes.
And you end up at some point in your life saying, who am I and what am I doing? None of this is really what I want.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's like, hey, I've got all this stuff at my house I need to do, and I'm over here doing stuff over here.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not
that's
just
a bad
that.
place to wind up.
Yeah.
I think when you realize that you've committed to something that you're not able to do, or really, in fact, don't want to do, it's important to say, look, I said I would do this, but I have to tell you that either, one, I'm not able to, and I made a commitment I can't keep, and I apologize for that. And then to say, that doesn't mean I won't ever do it. If it still needs to be done, when the arrangement of my life and schedule and time come to a point where I'm available to do it, it's on my list and I won't forget it. But when that time comes, if it's not done, then I will help.
Right.
So maybe you need to go into your tool pouch and start reevaluating what you need done and who you might be able to call in to do it, because I'm not able to. Now, if you're involved with a manipulative person, that is going to feel very bad at the time, and you're going to feel threatened that your integrity will be
At stake.
slandered and at stake.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing about integrity. If you have it, no matter what somebody says, however much, no matter what somebody else says about you, however much integrity you have, and however much interaction you have with those that they've slandered you to, are going to begin to see a contrast between the stories.
Yeah.
They're going to start to realize, wait a minute, now what I heard about you doesn't really fit what I know about you.
Right.
Another way to
Morning,
know
Larry
that you're
Melton.
being manipulated
Yeah.
is that the person doing the manipulating, if it's intentional, will start to, it's called antisocial behavior. So what they'll do is they'll tell somebody something bad about you so that that person will avoid you, and they'll make sure that it's so heinous that person won't even want to bring the topic up.
Right.
They don't want to find out the truth because it's too, if it is true, then the result of asking to find out if it's true will be very, very drastic and very dramatic.
Yeah.
And they want to avoid that. So that's what somebody who's antisocial will do. They're very highly socially developed and they're very good at socially, but they know how to make this person not talk to that person.
Yeah. Could we make an assessment between the difference between persuasion and manipulation? Is one is influencing, the other's controlling. is somebody who's manipulative will, instead of trying to say, well, maybe that you have these things, instead of being that way normally, they'll try to literally force your will to do something.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, well, I just thought because you have this and this.
Or even tricking you.
Right, or tricking you into doing something. I do think that there's a distinction that should be made there, and that's the motive behind it, and it eventually becomes clear whenever somebody's being manipulative versus whenever somebody is just being a little persuasive about something.
Another way, a way that you can identify if somebody's actually willingly and intentionally manipulating and using you is that all the people that surround them, whether you have any relationship or involvement with them or not, whenever you do somehow interact, you'll get a pretty strong sensation that this person already has formed an opinion about you, that it's a negative one, and that they don't really want to be involved with you.
Yeah.
So when that's consistent with the other people that are surrounding this manipulative person who's intentionally manipulating, you'll start to feel that from everybody they're involved with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I've been in that position.
Why does this person not like me when I don't even know them? It's the first time I've ever talked to them, and they don't even they seem like they really want to not talk to me.
Yeah.
See, somebody not wanting to talk to you is different than somebody wanting to not talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I get what you're saying. And I've been there before, and I've learned how to deal with people like that.
Yeah.
It's essentially as you, and this is really just how you're supposed to deal with anything. If you have an offense with somebody, you take it to that person directly. If somebody talks about somebody, you go to that person and you say, hey, because if you know them, you go, hey, is this true? Did this actually happen?
Well, and it's the right thing to do biblically, because you first go to one goes to the person with the offense, and then you take another.
Yeah.
So that's how you get to the bottom of something.
Yeah,
You know,
and also
the one and the two go away from there with the response saying, this isn't what it seems, or this person's lying, and so more people are brought in to find out and get to the bottom of the issue and make a correction. But here's the thing. You can't worry about how somebody will damage your reputation. And you can't go through life thinking that you can have an absolutely spot-free reputation. It can't happen. We make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
We overcommit and have to then not fulfill our promises.
Sorry, folks. I drink a lot of water.
So we have to be careful about that and not let that damage us personally. We need to continue to go through life with the integrity that we have. And no matter what the circumstances are, even if you have to go back and say, no, I'm not going to do that, it just doesn't work out for me. If you still need help in the future, when I am available, I will help. But right now, I've overcommitted, and I apologize for committing to you when I shouldn't have.
Yeah. And that goes with priorities too, is like you should ask yourself, like, what do I prioritize? What should I prioritize? And then make time accordingly for those things.
Because you got to take time for you as well.
It's honest assessment of yourself.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you do stuff for everybody and you never have any time for yourself, that's going to definitely burn you out really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I was going to say there's a flip side, too, is there's a lot of people that only have time for them and that need to make time for other people.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of good stuff on this show this morning. If you're just now joining us, we're talking about how it's okay to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be a butt about it.
And how to identify when you're being manipulated or used, or so that you can reassess your commitments and take the hits.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, I've overcommitted. I have to say no. Because what will happen is if somebody's manipulative and they're using you, you'll end up breaking your commitments to everybody else in your life. Yeah. And that won't just ruin your reputation. That'll ruin your friendships and the important relationships in your life.
Burning bridges.
Yes. So,
and just to make sure everybody listening, there's no underlying thing we're trying to do here. This is just, we were talking about it a little bit before the show, and
Well,
I thought it's a good
we
topic.
have found ourselves throughout. I mean, I've found myself throughout my life becoming ineffective because I've been overcommitted.
Yeah.
Or committed wholly and completely to something else that was not really what I wanted.
Like, I remember, for instance, with you, it was setting up a sound system in a certain place and trying to help that person. And it ended up being a complete and total nightmare for you.
Yes. And
you also realized you were being used.
I was being used and manipulated, and they weren't doing what I told them was required in order for the thing to come out right and be successful.
Yeah.
And so they weren't doing their part, and then when it did fail, like I said it would if they didn't do certain things, then they wanted to put that blame on me.
Right.
And I would have ended up committed forever.
Right, and it seemed like that's
system.
what was happening.
Yeah.
Because it was something new. Every single day you were doing something with this.
Right. And then there were things that needed to be done in order to protect the system that weren't getting done. And then the system did fail and was damaged.
Just like you said it was going to.
Just like I said it was going to multiple times to the person.
Yeah.
I said it. And
So-
they still didn't do those things. It was damaged.
And they
then
kept
were
saying,
not.
well, it was fine the way it was before.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
and I even said to him, well, why did you ask me to do it then?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I heard from people who had been coming to this place
Like they
for
start
years
coming
and
there.
years and years,
It's like they
and they
can't
said
get
they
away.
always had a problem with the sound system.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
Yeah. Yeah. And some of them like started coming there and then just couldn't get away from it because he just
I started to see that all around me. There were
Yeah.
a bunch of people committed to this
unwillingly.
thing who seemed to be hostage to it.
Yeah, yeah. And Stacy, so one more thing about that, if you happen to be talking about you being you being the one that's being manipulated, or you feel like you are, and you've been friends with them for a long time, if they're really your friend, sit down and talk to them about it and be honest about it. And if they get really mad at you, you gotta ask questions. Were they really your friend in the first place?
Is their ultimate concern not only for the project but for the people around them and in their life's well-being?
Yeah, and well, here's the thing too: is like a lot of the times people they'll make commitments, and we were talking about this out of well-meaning, and then they find out that they have no time for the commitment.
Yeah.
So it's better to say no, or to say no before you get too deep in.
I need time to think about it.
At least, but before you make those commitments, because there are large commitments that people make,
Yeah.
and it's okay as long as you can allot enough time for that commitment.
And if you're just being helpful, you got to say no, or you got to say I need time to think about it, because like that situation we were just talking about, if you don't take time to think about it, you may not realize that the vision that's being presented to you and your responsibility in that vision are lifetime commitments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to, when you're committing to helping somebody else to be helpful for helpful's sake, you have to make sure that there's a clear goal that anyone else who's responsible in this thing is going to fulfill their responsibilities, or else the contract or the commitment is void.
Yeah.
And that there's a clear point of completion.
Yeah.
That this is what it means when the job is done. This is what it means when you're not going to fulfill your end of the bargain and I am no longer committed to it because of that.
Okay, Stacy.
Because otherwise, like I said, what can happen is your commitment to be helpful can consume your entire life. And then at some point in your life, you're going to say, wait a minute, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And when
It's like,
things fall
my
apart.
life is back here somewhere. When did it go from there to here?
Yeah.
And
if things break down, you're out in the middle of nowhere and nowhere close to where you want to be, or a place that's good for you to be. You know what I mean?
okay, so we got a question from somebody posting his Axe Media Group. Do they look at you as a cash register, a mule, or a real person in Christ? Tough
Tough walk for the rich and the poor. It's the same for both.
It is. So yeah, hello Bruno. Bruno is probably on Steve McAllister's watch party. But yeah, that's this is a really, really good conversation. This is a really good topic.
Yeah.
It's
And I
about,
think there-
and it is all about being able to say no. And why would you say no? Well, you
Right.
have to evaluate yourself, what your goals are, who you are as a person, what kind of things you want to be involved in, and where you want to end up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you have to evaluate your time, your energy, your own mental state. There are people who are helpful who are complete messes and have something from their past that they need to stop everything they're doing and depend
Focus,
on all the
yeah.
people that are and say to the people that are depending on them, hey, wait a minute, listen, I can't commit to anymore, and I need you to start looking out for me, because
Right.
right now I need to go back and do a little bit of work on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing is like, okay, so they're, I would say, looking at your life, looking at your time, looking at your energy, and looking at who you are in Christ and what He's called you to do. And I would say that a lot of that has to do with, obviously, it deals with living for others as well, and being there to support others. But here's the thing: is like, you have to have somebody pour into you as much as you pour into
Yes.
others. Because if you have nobody to pour into you, you're going to find yourself exhausted.
Yeah.
And I
And
know that
dried up.
this is exactly how I am. Is like, I'll pour into everybody else, and then I'll find out after, ignoring my own problems, I'll go, wow, I am messed up.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, I need to take a step back. I need these people. And then sometimes you'll find out, well, either life is too busy for them at the moment, or the life is too busy at the moment, or they're not at a maturity or an understanding of your situation to be able to help you in that way. And then it just makes you feel alone.
I think somehow too, as Christians, and our commitment to God and to serve Him and to be of good service to Him makes us an easy target for manipulation too. Because guilt
Yeah.
is easy. Guilt is one of the easiest ways to manipulate somebody
Yeah.
and make somebody commit to something.
Yeah.
But
And that's deception.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is.
same as lying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the same
and
as
I
lying.
would
Even
almost-
if everything you say is true.
You can still be lying.
I would
Yeah.
say out of guilt. I mean, it's almost empty.
Bearing false
The way that
witness.
I take it, the way that I think of it, and this is after being manipulated. I went through a lot of drama in public school. Whenever people are ruthless.
That happens
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
So the way
Get
that
used
I
to it.
look at things and the way that I've gotten used to things
Doesn't get much
is
better.
this seems very calloused, but this is how it really is. It's like, if somebody doesn't want to do something, then don't force them to do it. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that they have a negative feeling towards you. And if it does, then you certainly don't want them to do it,
Yeah.
because then they're going to do it grudgingly instead of
Right.
with an open heart, and you don't want that.
And you
That's-
can put somebody who's good and not trying to use you in a position where you've overcommitted, and then leave it, and then when you fail, so do they, and
Yeah.
that doesn't
Well-
create a good situation either.
When I was dispatching, I would talk to my drivers and ask them to do something, and if they said no, I didn't badger them.
Yeah.
Because if someone says no and you convince them to do it, to take a load, let's say, they're way more likely to drop that load last minute because they don't really want to do it. And I used to tell them, I can
Or
deal
they're
with a no.
overcommitted.
I can deal with a no. Just don't lead me on. Don't string me on. Just be
Yeah.
honest about it. Tell
Yeah.
me no, and tell me when it's going to be a yes.
Yes.
Easy. But people, find themselves. Then you got people avoiding your calls and
Yeah.
things like that. And that's probably. I mean, I probably wouldn't make a good dispatcher in the eyes of people who
Yeah.
want those.
And I'm
loads
not
on the
saying
road,
say
but-
no to everything.
right. No.
Yeah.
I'm saying you have to truly
But don't
assess
say yes to everything either.
your own capabilities, your own direction in life, and understand that, yes, I can help you with your ministry, and this is how, and no more.
Yeah.
But more
And it ain't
importantly,
because I don't want you to succeed, it's because I also
make
am
sure you
working
have
on
time
something.
for God. More importantly than
Yes.
anything. Because you can, all right, and so then you can be so involved in something, and that you can forget about God.
Yep.
Even if you're in ministry.
Yeah.
You could be so focused on so many things that you forget to take time out to talk to God.
An overwhelming
And
amount of work. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah.
The two things really that people need to focus on is their relationship with God and their relationship with others. And if they are assessing those and they should be able to figure out what they need. Like if you are exhausted and drained and you need time away from everything, then that should become apparent by analyzing your relationship with God and your relationship with others.
Yeah.
Everything should be apparent from those things, and and we're supposed to live for God, and that means laying down our life for Him and to help others.
Yeah.
Now, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just saying which is why looking at those two things, the relationship and the group of relationships, should tell you what you need.
Well, real quick, we've got 3 minutes left, and I wanted to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by Steamy Joe Cafe in Branson, Missouri. That's at 224 West Main Street in Branson, 417-320-3046. If you want to pre-order some brownies or some cinnamon rolls, which are huge and delicious. They've also got hot drinks, cold drinks, breakfast, daily lunch specials, wraps, and if you tell them the Morning Drive sent you, you can get a buy one, get one free chicken salad croissant, and they sound amazing. They sound amazing. I have not had them yet. I could probably eat the chicken salad. But anyways, yeah, go and check it out. Steamy Joe Cafe, the official sponsor of the Morning Drive, the first official sponsor of the Morning Drive, by the way. Well, besides naturalsolutionstore.bz. But anyways, we're glad to be a part of them. They have sent some cinnamon rolls out here and some brownies, and they were amazing.
Yes.
So we can attest to that. And it's a really cool little setting. It used to be a house, and it's like the formal parlor type of deal. And so it's small, it's quaint, it's a personal experience, and it's right there in Branson, just off of 76.
You can help us a lot by pressing that like button, sharing it with your friends.
Yes.
Share with a particular friend that you think might be interested or that this show may benefit or be a help to.
Yeah.
So please do that. Please, please, please.
And then if you feel like helping us out monetarily, go to axmediagroup.com, hit the donate now button. You can donate as little as $1 and as much as you want. I don't want to put a limit on that because if the Lord moves you to help us out and partner with us on a monthly basis, that's great. You can do a one-time donation, or you can, have it come out
make a monthly.
Weekly
even. I think you can
weekly.
set up anyhow.
All right. So, that being said, all right, let me go ahead and take this banner off here. Be sure and tune in next for the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. And today's show is about non-committed Christians. Non-affiliated. Non-affiliated. They're like they don't affiliate with any religion or things like that. That's what we're going to talk about today. I was trying to find the one about the census, but that officially is a lost episode. I cannot find it anywhere. Last week we talked about on the Morning Mouth, we talked about changing the names of everything because if they say the word man in them, it was pretty funny. So go back and check that out if you get a chance. Final thoughts, guys.
We do. I understand wanting to be diligent and committing your works to the Lord, and He will direct your thoughts. But they are your thoughts. You know what I mean? And we do have the freedom to choose. We should be able to say no when we need to say no, and we should be able to say yes when we need to say yes. The Bible says, "Look to the ant." They all have a purpose. They all have a drive and a meaning and a place. And they are diligent. So I'm not saying don't be diligent and say no until all you have is time to sit at home, because that's not healthy either.
Right. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back on next Monday, same time, same channel. So tune in next for the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. And then for myself. Followed by Dr. Paul Collins and his wife Nancy with the Happy Hour from 9:30 to 10:30. So be sure and check it out. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Tanner.
And this has been The Morning Drive.